So ever since the beta, I've been adamantly following Anthem and have been hoping that they would improve something or that they would make a statement. But overall, we have really gotten nothing more than a lackluster and unfinished product that I was really excited for. Maybe EA would have changed. Maybe BioWare would have come out with an amazing game with a great narrative and great content. As we all know, the community reaction to the game hasn't been that great. It has been very polarized. We've had the people who say the game is great and worth the $60, and then the group of people who think the game is lackluster, unfinished, and terrible. There is a little bit of middle ground, but it is not very large. Just today, there was a post on the Anthem subreddit about things that were removed from the game, such as the javelins on the display inside Fort Tarsus General, joining in strongholds out in the open world general, the animations and loading screens, and so on and so forth. Whatever happened with these things? Just a few examples of what we've seen previously that's absent from the game we got. First, I want to touch on something, and that is transparency. There's a good kind of transparency and a bad kind of transparency. The good kind of transparency is what CIG are doing, which is Cloud Imperium Games, which is currently developing Star Citizen and Squadron 42. They are constantly giving updates, releasing so many videos every week, providing plenty of content and information to the players, whether that's good or bad. And they probably have plenty of bad things, such as delays, removal of certain features, changes that people aren't too happy about. But there is also plenty of good, and they make sure to show the good when they need to, and they make sure to inform the community when there is negative things or downgrades or removals or delays and so on and so forth. Now, there's a big thing between transparency and false advertising as a marketing tactic. What happened with Anthem is most likely, and I would put my money on, a marketing tactic under the guise of transparency. And this is where Ben Irving comes in, because he did respond. There are some times when BioWare developers respond to posts on the subreddit. You get an official BioWare response marker on there and a flare. And this is what Ben Irving had to say. The short answer is that the cost of transparency is things change. We did our best to be transparent on the journey to going live, but with that, we knew things would be different in some situations. Sometimes people would be happy and sometimes they would be upset. It's the cost of transparency. Edit. To elaborate, game development is full of change. There are millions of reasons why you set out with an idea and it evolves over time. This is common in every game. We shared as much as we could. Some things changed, so the cost of transparency is that some things we said become not true. Not because someone was dishonest, but because it changed over the course of development. Now, this is the form of bad transparency, where it is used as a marketing tactic, because we all know that when he said some people would be happy and sometimes they would be upset. We all know that if they were to release the product that they showed us, that we would have been happier than we were now. And I can almost guarantee that there's not a single person who looked at that amazing open world and Fort Tarsus and all the cosmetic options and would be disappointed if they kept them in the game. And that is for sure. Maybe there were some changes internally that they never mentioned at all, that people might have been upset if they were kept or if they were changed, but we will never know about that. All we know is that we were showed an amazing product simply to hype it up by EA and BioWare. They knew what they were doing. They were showing us this, and transparency is a double-edged blade. You have to tell people the bad just as much as you tell them the good. But right here, we obviously know that they showed us only the good so that they could advertise and gain excitement for their product. Transparency does come at a cost, and that I do agree. When you're releasing negative content, you most likely will have some backlash, and of course, with the positive content, you will probably, gain plenty of, either traction or attention or excitement. And that is what happened with Anthem. There was really no bad transparency at all. We didn't get told about any of this. And we just were served to it on a platter and said, oh yeah, that stuff that we showed you and all those cool features and stuff. Yeah, well, they're not here anymore. Enjoy the game. Thanks for the $60. We have to start holding game publishers and developers responsible for false advertising and these marketing tactics that are used to draw in users and consumers with falsities. This statement basically makes it seem as if they were telling as much as they could and, giving us all the information that they thought was important, the negative and the positive. But in reality, as we've seen with my own 16 billion eyes, that this was a BS and only a tactic to get money. I agree, game development does change, and there are many things internally that might have changed that maybe some people would have found useful, but we got the game, and most of the features that are in the game, some of them good, some of them bad, probably didn't change that much over the development period. Saying that this is common in every game is, I can understand that during a development process, there are many decisions to be made. But what happened here was surely not a positive decision in any way, and anything other than a tumor on the industry, which is the false advertising that we've seen in every single trailer. It's so many. I mean, with No Man's Sky, Destiny, Rainbow Six Siege, Anthem. There are a few games that show us stuff that are actually real, and it is in a sense dishonest because they probably knew that they were either going to show this content and just completely remove it later, or that the gameplay trailer was a complete lie, which it definitely had to have been, because there's no way that they showed off this awesome trailer that everyone was super hyped for just so that they could remove it all and people could be upset about it, because there's no logic there. I don't know any logical decision or thought that could have went through someone's mind where they thought, well, if we remove all this content, people will be happier. Since we already have it, well, I mean, why would we even keep it in the game? It just doesn't make any sense. Now we are left with a half-finished product, a quite polarized and angry group of people who would rather have the advertised product, and another example of false advertising in the gaming industry. In many other industries, we know that if this stuff happened, people would be in an uproar about it and would be very angry. We keep pre-ordering things. We have this pre-order culture that people seem to have, where no matter how many times they are burned, they consistently will pre-order a product from the same company over and over again, even if they got their spit in their face 80 times in a row. However much I would love to see this game succeed, I would rather BioWare and EA learn their lesson about why false advertising is not appropriate in the industry, and it will not be accepted and is unacceptable in every way, shape, or form. I know there are many passionate devs in BioWare, but the head executives, the head developers probably made these decisions. Not every single individual in the company was responsible for this, but it's not always the publisher. It's not always EA's fault. EA definitely did have a say in some of this stuff, but BioWare and their heads definitely need to also be held responsible, not just pushed aside. Well, they're just the developer. It's the publisher's fault, because it's both parties are responsible for this, and they both need to be held accountable. I do like to hear discussion on these kinds of things. I did read many of the comments on this post, and there is mostly people against what Ben Irving said, and mostly in support of the fact that they removed and downgraded their product in every way, shape, or form. So if you do have any opinions or comments on this, go ahead and drop them down below. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you want to see more videos like this, such as discussion, gaming, and whatnot, go ahead and hit that juicy subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it. I appreciate the viewage and all the support that I've been getting lately. I will catch you guys on the next one, and take care.